The old house stood quietly at the edge of the village, surrounded by tall trees and the soft sound of wind passing through the leaves. Inside that house lived a gentle old woman and her young grandson. Every evening, just before the sun disappeared behind the hills, the grandmother would sit on her wooden chair near the window, and her grandson would sit close to her feet, waiting to hear another story filled with wisdom. One evening, as the sky turned golden and birds returned to their nests, the boy looked at his grandmother and asked a simple question. "Grandma, how can I become a good and successful person when I grow up?" The grandmother smiled softly. She looked at him with eyes full of love and years of experience. She slowly placed her hand on his head and began speaking in a calm and warm voice. "My child, success is not just about money, and goodness is not just about words. Life will teach you many lessons, but if you learn a few truths early, your journey will become easier. When I was young, life was not easy for me. I did not grow up with comfort. I did not have many clothes or toys. But I had something more valuable. I had lessons from my elders. Those lessons helped me survive the hardest days of my life." The boy listened carefully, his eyes fixed on her face. The grandmother continued. "The first lesson I learned is that life will not always be fair. Sometimes you will work very hard and still not get what you want. Sometimes you will be kind to people and they will still hurt you. But never let unfair moments make your heart bitter. If your heart becomes bitter, you lose the best part of yourself. I remember when I was a young girl, I worked from morning until night. I helped my parents, took care of my younger brothers, and still found time to study. But there were many times when others who worked less got more than me. It hurt, but I kept going. Slowly, life rewarded my patience." The boy asked softly, "Did you ever feel like giving up?" The grandmother smiled gently. "Many times, my child, many times. There were days when I cried alone. There were nights when I felt tired of trying. But every time I wanted to give up, I remembered something my father used to say. He said that hard days do not stay forever, but strong people do. So I stayed strong." She paused for a moment, looking outside at the setting sun. The second lesson is about kindness. Kindness is a seed. When you plant it, it grows slowly, and one day it returns to you in ways you never expected. There was a time when I had very little food in the house. One evening, a stranger knocked on our door. He looked hungry and tired. Even though we had little, my mother shared our meal with him. At that time, I did not understand why she did that. Years later, when our family was going through a very difficult time, that same man returned to help us. He had become successful and never forgot the kindness he received. That day, I learned that goodness always comes back, even if it takes years. The boy rested his head on her lap and listened. The grandmother gently stroked his hair and continued speaking. The third lesson is about patience. Everything in life takes time. Trees do not grow in a day. Rivers do not reach the ocean in a moment. And people do not become strong and wise overnight. When I got married, your grandfather and I had nothing. We started our life in a small house with almost no money. We worked very hard together. Some days we had enough, some days we did not. But we stayed patient. Slowly, life became better. If we had lost patience and started blaming each other, our life would have broken apart. But patience kept us together and made us stronger. The boy looked up and asked, "Grandma, what is the most important thing in life?" She looked into his eyes and said softly, "The most important thing is your character. Money can come and go. Success can rise and fall. But your character stays with you forever. If you are honest, people will trust you. If you are kind, people will love you. If you are strong, people will respect you. But if you lose your character, you lose everything." She took a deep breath and continued. The fourth lesson is about failure. Do not be afraid of failing. Every person who succeeds has failed many times. Failure is not the end. It is a teacher. I failed many times in my life. I made mistakes. I trusted the wrong people. I took wrong decisions. But every mistake taught me something. Every failure made me wiser. If you fall, stand up again. If you lose, try again. If you feel weak, rest for a moment, but never stop moving forward. The boy sat quietly, thinking about her words. The grandmother's voice became softer. The fifth lesson is about family. No matter how big you become, never forget the people who stood beside you when you had nothing. When your grandfather was sick, I stayed by his side day and night. It was not easy. I was tired, scared, and worried. But love gave me strength. Family is your true support. In your happiest moments and your hardest moments, they are the ones who stay. Take care of them, respect them, value them. Outside, the sky had turned dark, and the stars began to appear. The house felt peaceful and warm. The grandmother looked at her grandson and said slowly, "One day, I will not be here to tell you these stories. One day, you will have to walk your own path. You will face challenges, you will meet good people and bad people. You will feel strong some days and weak on others. But if you remember these lessons, you will never be lost. Work hard even when no one is watching. Be kind even when people are not kind to you. Stay patient even when life feels slow. Stand up after every failure. And never forget the people who love you." The boy's eyes filled with tears. He held her hand tightly and said, "I will remember everything you said." The grandmother smiled, her eyes shining with love. "That is all I want, my child. I do not want you to become the richest person. I do not want you to become the most famous person. I only want you to become a good human being. Because a good heart creates a beautiful life." They sat together in silence, listening to the night. In that quiet moment, the boy felt something deep inside his heart. A feeling of strength, warmth, and direction. He knew that these words would stay with him forever. And many years later, when life became difficult, when he faced failures, when he felt alone, he remembered that evening. He remembered his grandmother's gentle voice, her warm hands, and her simple wisdom. Those lessons guided him through every storm. And slowly, step by step, they helped him become not just a successful man, but a good one.